The silent vanguard. The HSS Phantom drifted through the void like a ghost, its revolutionary quantum absorption hull drinking in the faint starlight rather than reflecting it. The experimental warship represented humanity's pinnacle of military engineering, a vessel designed not for peaceful exploration, but for the defense of an increasingly threatened species. Captain Nadia Volkov stood on the bridge, her pale blue eyes fixed on the tactical hologram. At 47, the silver streaks in her auburn hair testified to a career forged in conflict. A jagged scar ran from her left temple to her jaw, a permanent reminder of the Zygerian assault on New Bangalore colony that had claimed her family 12 years ago. "Status report," she said, her voice carrying the calm authority that had earned her this command. First Officer Dmitry Kasparov looked up from his station. "All systems nominal, Captain. We're maintaining position at the edge of the Proxima sector. Long-range scans show standard patrol patterns from both the Zygerian hierarchy and the Tellurian dominion." Volkov nodded. The Phantom's mission was straightforward: observe activities along the contested borders where human space met the territories of the two most powerful alien civilizations known to Earth. For centuries, the Zygerians and Tellurians had been locked in a bitter existential Cold War, their mutual hatred preserving a delicate balance that had allowed humanity to expand its reach among the stars. Earth's strategy had always relied on this conflict. While formidable, the human military could not hope to stand against either empire alone, much less both together. "Captain," called out Tactical Officer Jin Wei, his voice tense, "I'm detecting unusual energy patterns in Sector 9. Volkov moved to his station. "Show me." The main screen shifted to display a region of space where Zygerian and Tellurian territories converged. Strange energy patterns pulsed across the monitor. "Those aren't combat signatures," said Chief Engineer Olivia Okonkwo, her brow furrowed. "The energy profiles suggest large-scale docking procedures." "Magnify," ordered Volkov. The image zoomed in, revealing something that sent a chill through every officer on the bridge. A massive Zygerian battle cruiser, recognizable by its distinctive crimson hull and organic-looking protrusions, hovered alongside three gleaming blue Tellurian vessels. "They're cooperating," whispered Navigation Officer Haruki Tanaka, disbelief evident in his voice. Volkov's jaw tightened. "Run a full-spectrum analysis. I want to know exactly what's happening there." For 3 hours, the Phantom observed in silence as more ships from both empires gathered. The truth became impossible to deny. The ancient enemies were forming an alliance. The ship's intelligence officer, Commander Victor Fleming, completed his analysis with grim finality. "Based on vessel types, deployment patterns, and supply chains, this is an invasion force, and given the direction of their staging area." "Earth," Volkov finished his thought. "They're coming for us." The bridge fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity had survived for generations by playing the empires against each other. If they united, Earth's colonies wouldn't stand a chance. "We need to alert Earth Command immediately," said Kasparov. "Prepare a data package with everything we've recorded." Volkov nodded. "Set course for the Arcturus relay station, maximum stealth." The Phantom turned silently and accelerated away from the alien gathering. For 50 minutes, they made good progress toward human space. Then alarms blared across the bridge. "Multiple ships approaching from Sector 5, called out Wei. "Tellurian destroyers, 7 of them." "How did they spot us?" demanded Volkov. Chief Okonkwo frantically checked her readings. "They must have deployed quantum resonance sensors. Our stealth systems aren't completely effective against that technology." "Evasive maneuvers, all power to engines." The Phantom surged forward, but the Tellurian vessels gained rapidly. The first energy blast flashed past their port side, a warning shot. "They're hailing us," reported Communications Officer Farah Hassan. "Ignore it," ordered Volkov. "Continue evasive pattern Epsilon." The second volley wasn't a warning. The Phantom shuddered as energy beams struck its aft shields. "Shields at 82%, reported Wei. They're trying to disable us, not destroy us. Another hit rocked the ship. Communications array damaged, called out Hassan. Long-range transmitters are offline. Volkov gripped the arms of her command chair. Without the communications array, they couldn't warn Earth about the Alliance or the impending invasion. Can we outrun them? She asked Tanaka. Negative, Captain. They'll intercept us before we reach the relay station. Chief Okonkwo approached, her expression determined. Captain, I could activate the Phantom Shift drive. It's still experimental, but... Will it get us past them? Yes, but the power requirements are enormous. We'd have to divert energy from all non-essential systems, including backup life support. Another hit rocked the ship. Shields at 61%, reported Y. Volkov made her decision. Prepare the Phantom Shift drive. The bridge crew worked frantically as the Tellurian ships closed in. Okonkwo's fingers flew across her console, rerouting power systems. Phantom Shift ready in 10 seconds, she announced. But Captain, I must warn you, the drive wasn't fully tested. There could be unforeseen consequences. Noted, said Volkov grimly. All hands brace for Phantom Shift. A high-pitched whine filled the ship as the experimental drive engaged. For a moment, reality seemed to blur around them. Stars stretched into lines, and every crew member felt a strange sensation as if their bodies were simultaneously being compressed and stretched. When reality snapped back into focus, the enemy ships were gone. Status report, Volkov called out, fighting a wave of dizziness. We've jumped approximately 2.3 light-years, reported Tanaka. No sign of pursuit. The brief moment of relief was shattered by Okonkwo's voice. Captain, the Phantom Shift overloaded several key systems. Communications array is completely fried. Quantum engines are damaged. We can still use conventional drives, but... How long to repair communications? Asked Volkov. With our current resources, weeks, maybe months. The gravity of their situation settled over the bridge. They had discovered an existential threat to Earth, but couldn't warn anyone about it. Volkov stood and moved to the center of the bridge, her face illuminated by the glow of the tactical displays. Every officer watched her, waiting for direction. Options, she asked. Kasparov spoke first. We could try to reach the nearest human outpost for repairs. That would take too long, countered Fleming. By then, the invasion could already be underway. Volkov remained silent, weighing their limited choices. Earth's regulations were clear. In case of critical intelligence, return to the nearest command base immediately, but her instincts told her something else. If we can't warn Earth, she finally said, then we'll have to disrupt this alliance ourselves. The bridge crew exchanged shocked glances. Captain, questioned Kasparov, we're one ship against two empires. Volkov's eyes hardened with resolve. One ship they don't expect, one ship with technology they've never encountered before. We can't match their numbers, but we can create chaos. We can buy Earth time. Her finger traced a path across the star chart, stopping at a key strategic location. Set course for the Tellurian forward staging area. She looked around at her crew, seeing the mixture of fear and determination on their faces. I won't lie to you. What I'm proposing goes against protocol. This is a volunteer mission. Anyone who objects can record their dissent in the ship's log. For a long moment, no one spoke. Then Okonkwo stepped forward. The Phantom was built for exactly this, Captain, to protect Earth when no one else could. I'm with you. One by one, the other officers voiced their agreement. Very well, said Volkov. Set course, we move in 1 hour. 5 days after entering Tellurian territory, the Phantom drifted silently among the debris of an abandoned mining asteroid. The human warship had evaded several patrols, gathering intelligence on enemy movements while formulating their strategy. Lieutenant Wei had made a critical discovery. Captain, he explained, displaying complex energy readings on the main screen. Each Empire's ships emit distinctive energy signatures. With some modifications to our weapons systems, we could disguise the Phantom's attacks as either Zygarian or Tellurian in origin. Volkov studied the patterns thoughtfully. Could we fool their sensors? For a limited time, Wei confirmed. Enough for a strike-and-fade operation. A plan began to form in Volkov's mind. A plan that might turn two allies against each other. The first target was a Zygarian communications relay near the Alliance staging area. The Phantom approached cautiously, its weapons modified to leave Tellurian energy signatures. As predicted, the Zygarian facility detected them only moments before impact, too late to mount an effective defense. The human ship struck without warning, its modified weapons leaving distinctive Tellurian energy residue on the damaged structures. Before the Zygarian forces could organize a proper response, the Phantom had disappeared back into the darkness of space. Officer Hassan, monitoring intercepted communications, smiled grimly. The Zygarians are furious, Captain. They're demanding explanations from Tellurian leadership. Good, said Volkov. Now we wait, let suspicion take root. 3 days later, they struck a Tellurian fuel depot, this time leaving evidence of Zygarian involvement. The precision attack destroyed crucial supply lines for the invasion fleet. As accusations flew between the former enemies, neither suspected the true cause of their conflict. A single human warship executing the most daring deception in Earth's military history. 2 weeks after beginning their campaign, the Phantom had succeeded beyond Captain Volkov's expectations. The once solid alliance between the Zygarian hierarchy and Tellurian dominion showed significant fractures as mistrust grew between the former enemies. But their success came at a cost. The constant operations strained the ship's resources and crew. The Phantom shift drive remained unstable, usable only in the most dire emergencies, and enemy patrols grew more numerous as both empires searched for the elusive saboteur. As Volkov studied the tactical display showing their next target, a major joint staging area, she knew they were approaching a critical juncture. Either they would succeed in completely severing the alliance, or they would be discovered and destroyed. Either way, she had made her decision. One ship against two empires. It was time to show the galaxy what humanity could do when backed into a corner, embers of discord. The Phantom's bridge had become a war room. Tactical displays showed their strategic victories across both Zygarian and Tellurian territories. Communication outposts disabled, supply lines severed, military installations crippled. For 37 days, Captain Volkov and her crew had waged their shadow campaign, striking with precision then vanishing into the void. Intercepted transmissions confirm it, reported communications officer Hassan with barely contained excitement. The Tellurian High Command has recalled 3 battle groups from the invasion staging area. They're redeploying to protect their inner territories. A cautious optimism spread through the bridge crew. Their impossible mission was yielding results. The Zygarians have followed suit, added intelligence officer Fleming, reviewing data on his terminal. Their Supreme Archon is demanding security guarantees before committing more resources to the Alliance. Volkov nodded, her face showing the strain of weeks spent in constant tension. Deep shadows had formed beneath her eyes, and her uniform hung loosely on her frame. Like every member of her crew, she had pushed herself to the limits of human endurance. "Show me the latest intelligence on the main staging point," she ordered. The holographic display shifted to reveal a massive space station at the nexus of Zygarian and Tellurian space. Dozens of warships from both empires still surrounded it, the heart of their invasion plans. Despite our efforts, they've still amassed enough firepower to devastate Earth's outer colonies, warned Kasparov grimly. The Alliance is damaged but not broken. Volkov's eyes narrowed as she studied the tactical display. Then we strike at its heart. We take out the staging station. A stunned silence fell over the bridge. "Captain," began Chief Engineer Okonkwo carefully, "that facility is guarded by more ships than we've engaged in all our previous operations combined. The Phantom wasn't designed for direct confrontation against those odds." "I'm aware of the risks," Volkov replied quietly. But our supplies are dwindling and we've pushed the ship beyond its design limits. If we're going to make a difference before we're caught, it has to be now, and it has to be decisive. She gestured to the tactical display. What if we modified our approach? Instead of attacking ships directly, we target the station's reactor cores. Engineer Okonkwo considered this. A precision strike at these coordinates, she highlighted sections of the station on the display, would trigger a cascading failure. The explosion would be catastrophic and would likely damage or destroy many of the assembled fleet vessels, added Wei. Volkov nodded. Begin preparations, we strike in 12 hours. As the crew dispersed to their duties, First Officer Kasparov remained behind. A word in private, Captain. In her ready room, Volkov sank into her chair, the exhaustion of their long campaign briefly visible on her face before she composed herself. You disagree with the plan, Dmitri. Kasparov chose his words carefully. I understand the military necessity, but the station isn't just a military target. Both empires have civilian personnel there. Scientists, administrators, support staff. Volkov's expression hardened. Do you think I haven't considered that? Every night when I close my eyes, I see the faces of everyone who will die because of my orders. She gestured toward the viewport where distant stars shimmered. But somewhere out there are billions of humans, men, women, and children on Earth and its colonies who will die if this invasion proceeds. She stood, moving to a small display case containing a holographic image of New Bangalore colony before its destruction. I've seen what these empires do to human settlements. They don't distinguish between military and civilian targets. They don't take prisoners. Kasparov nodded solemnly. I'll support whatever decision you make, Captain. The crew will too. I don't want their blind loyalty, Dmitri. I want them to understand what we're fighting for and what we're becoming in the process. She turned back to him, her expression resolute. Now, help me make sure this operation succeeds. 11 hours later, the Phantom approached the massive staging station using the cover of a dense asteroid field. Their target loomed before them, a sprawling structure of metal and energy fields where the combined might of two empires prepared for humanity's destruction. Weapon systems primed and locked on designated targets, reported Wei. Energy signature masking systems engaged, will appear as a Zygarian warship to Tellurian sensors and vice versa. Engineering reports the Phantom Shift drive is prepped for emergency jump, added Okonkwo. But Captain, I must emphasize, the drive may not survive another activation. Volkov acknowledged this with a grim nod. We'll use it only if absolutely necessary. All hands battle stations. The Phantom emerged from the asteroid field, accelerating toward the station. For precious seconds, the confusion of their disguised energy signature bought them time as both Zygarian and Tellurian vessels hesitated, each believing the approaching ship belonged to their ally. We're within optimal firing range, announced Y. Fire all weapons, ordered Volkov. Advanced quantum torpedoes streaked toward the station, each precisely targeted at critical infrastructure points. The first impacts triggered secondary explosions as power conduits ruptured and containment fields collapsed. Direct hits on all primary targets, called out Wei. Station reactor showing critical instability. But their moment of triumph was short-lived. A Tellurian dreadnought commander had seen through their deception. Captain, our energy masking systems are failing, warned Okonkwo. They've locked onto our true signature. Evasive maneuvers, Volkov commanded as the first enemy fire lanced toward them. The Phantom twisted and accelerated, but it was surrounded. Tellurian cruisers closed in from 3 directions, while Zygarian vessels appeared on their starboard flank. They're coordinating, said Fleming grimly. They know we're the ones responsible for disrupting their alliance. The ship shuddered as multiple energy beams struck their shields simultaneously. Shields at 42%, reported Wei, his voice steady despite the dire situation. Hull breaches on decks 3 and 4, emergency force fields holding. Another volley rocked the vessel. Shields at 17%, Wei updated. We can't take much more of this, Captain. Volkov surveyed the tactical display, nodding with grim satisfaction that the station behind them had begun to break apart, massive explosions rippling across its superstructure. Their mission was accomplished, but at what would likely be the cost of the Phantom and everyone aboard. Captain, Okonkwo called out urgently, the station's reactor is going critical. The blast radius will destroy everything within 400,000 kilometers. Volkov made her decision. All hands brace for Phantom Shift. Chief, make it count. Aye, Captain. Initiating emergency Phantom Shift now. Once again, reality blurred around them as the experimental drive engaged. The sensation was more violent this time, with several crew members losing consciousness from the strain. When they emerged, the Phantom was crippled but alive, drifting in an uncharted region of space far from the staging area. Status report, Volkov called out, helping an injured officer back to her station. Phantom Shift drive completely burned out, reported Okonkwo. Multiple systems damage. We're operating on emergency power. Where are we? Volkov asked. Tanaka checked his instruments, then looked up with disbelief. Captain, we're in the Sol system, just beyond the orbit of Jupiter. A stunned silence fell over the bridge. Confirm that, ordered Volkov. Confirmed, Captain. The Phantom Shift drive somehow brought us home. As the reality of their situation sank in, Communications Officer Hassan suddenly straightened at her station. Captain, I'm receiving transmissions. Earth Defense Command frequencies. Can we respond? Hassan worked frantically at her console. Short-range communications are still functional, establishing contact now. Within minutes, the main screen displayed the astonished face of Admiral Joe of Earth Defense Command. Captain Volkov, the Phantom was reported lost in action almost 40 days ago. Admiral, Volkov replied, standing despite her exhaustion. I must report that Earth faces an imminent threat. The Zygarian hierarchy and Tellurian Dominion have formed an alliance with the intent to— We know, Captain, interrupted Joe. We received your initial intelligence package. It appears your communications array managed to transmit your findings before it was destroyed. Volkov stared in disbelief. Then Earth has been preparing defenses. More than that, the Admiral responded. We've been tracking unusual energy discharges throughout both enemy territories. At first, we couldn't explain the pattern, until someone theorized it might be the work of the Phantom. A hint of a smile crossed Joe's face. Your campaign of disruption bought us precious time, Captain. Every human colony has been mobilizing. The outer defense fleet is fully deployed. And 3 days ago, we detected a massive explosion at what intelligence identified as the invasion staging point. The bridge crew exchanged looks of stunned relief. But more importantly, continued the Admiral, your actions have had an unexpected consequence. The Centauri Confederation, which had remained neutral in all previous conflicts, has interpreted the failed alliance as a sign of weakness. They've approached Earth with a proposal for a mutual defense pact. Volkov sank back into her command chair, the full impact of their accomplishment washing over her. Captain, prepare your ship for emergency towing. You and your crew will receive a full hero's welcome once you're back on Earth. And, the Admiral's voice grew solemn, history will remember what the Phantom accomplished, one ship that changed the course of human destiny. As the transmission ended, Volkov looked around at her exhausted but proud crew. It appears, she said softly, that we've done more than just buy time. We may have changed the balance of power in this sector of the galaxy. First Officer Kasparov nodded. They'll tell stories about the Phantom for generations, Captain. Volkov gazed out at the distant blue marble of Earth, now visible through the viewport. They won't just tell stories about a ship, Dmitri. They'll tell stories about what humans are capable of when facing impossible odds. As Earth vessels approached to escort them home, Captain Nadia Volkov allowed herself a moment of quiet reflection. The scars of her past, both physical and emotional, would always remain. But now they were joined by something new, the knowledge that sometimes a single act of defiance could reshape the stars themselves. In the years that followed, the HSS Phantom became the template for a new generation of human warships. The alliance it had shattered never reformed, and the diplomatic revolution it sparked led to the formation of the Terran Alliance, humanity's first multi-species cooperative that would eventually include former enemies. All because one ship, one crew, had refused to accept defeat when confronted with overwhelming odds.